Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm so excited to be sharing about the results of my study. Hopefully, you've watched a little bit about the creation of this study so you understand my whys and the methodology. If not, there are a couple of videos that go more in depth on that. But for now, let's just jump into these golden nuggets that I was able to discover, to be taught as I interviewed these 27 facilitators. So let's go through the overview of the findings. So first and foremost, there was, as you can imagine, a diversity of information that was coming from all of these different facilitators. They had different backgrounds, they had different worldviews and philosophies about how the medicine was working, what their role was. Um, there were also very different ways of working as facilitators. So some people were working more on a somatic level, on what was going on in the body. Some people were more focused on the spiritual orientation of an individual. Some come with more clinical understandings of this work, and some are working more in the energetic and intuitive realms. There isn't one right way of doing this, but many different ways of approaching this. And the purpose of what I wanted to do was to find the golden threads between all of these different ways. So we're going to talk a little bit about what these golden threads were between all of these different practices, different practitioners, and different approaches of working with medicine. So there is an ecosystem of transformation. That's what I like to call it. And typically when we think about this type of work, we think about the peak experience, right? The altered state. And that's a really important part, obviously, if we're talking about psychedelic treatment, but it's just one slice. I say this all the time, it's just one slice of a much bigger pie. And that pie entails the screening practices of how someone is able to gauge whether or not someone is ready for this type of work or they have the capacity for it. Also, there's preparation, and preparation is really about establishing safety and intentionality ahead of time, making sure that the expectations are appropriate, and also developing skills and embodying like daily practices so that someone can better integrate on the other side of this work, the psychedelic experience, what has happened to them, which includes the integration, which is a huge chunk of what we should be thinking of when we think about this work. And in each of these areas, there are considerations that are made. So we will eventually go through those. I'm really excited about that part. Okay, here are some of my main findings. Now, again, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages worth of transcripts. These were such rich interviews, and a lot was shared with me, and over time I could start to see different patterns, and these are the patterns that I feel like are most important to where we are at today, what might be most supportive as we as a society are grappling with how to work with these substances. So safety and trust first and foremost, pacing and readiness, facilitator integrity and self-work, systems of support, participant empowerment, integration, and recursive non-linear transformation. All right. So we're going to go through these one at a time. For those of you who are interested in becoming facilitators, wonderful. I hope that you can learn from this. If you're on your path of trying to explore psychedelics, these are the considerations that you might want to look for when you're looking for a facilitator, or what you want to be able to come to as you're preparing for your experience. All right, thanks for being here. We'll see you for the other videos that go more in detail about these specific results.